Alright. Oh, good. The fucking... So, I'm playing this through a browser-based translation. I've never done a full playthrough of this. Um, so this will be pretty new for me as well. So I'm kind of curious to go through it. I've played a little bit of the original GBA ROM, but it was in Japanese. And even at my best, it takes me a long time to read through pages and pages of Japanese. So I'm just not that fluent when it comes to reading. But this is essentially just a novelization of the first game, but it's also got like its own little puzzles and things to it. So this is completely based on the first game, Rongarian, and it actually gives a little bit more insight into some of the story and some of the things that happen in the first game. So it's somewhat loosely based, and yeah, it's got some weird stuff to it, like Zorky says. But it's interesting. So let's see what we're in for. Oh yeah, and there's a Harry and a Sybil scenario. I'm just going to do the Harry scenario right now. Oh good, there is music. It's been a while since I've taken a vacation. I'm driving my Jeep, heading towards the quiet resort town of Silent Hill. The sound of the engine reverberates in the darkness. Due to some slight car trouble earlier, it has become this late. I'm Harry Mason. I am a run-of-the-mill writer. Her eyes closed, Cheryl sleeps peacefully in the passenger seat. Cheryl is my daughter. She's cheerful and lively, and the occasional carefree smiles she shows me make me feel happy. I don't have very many relationships with people because of what I do for a living, so Cheryl's existence has become irreplaceable to me. Cheryl was very much looking forward to this trip. Yeah, the ad block tab. Perhaps I should, can I just, disable that? There we go. That should work. Although paved, this is still very much a mountain road. At this hour, there is little reason for any other drivers to be about. I push in the accelerator. There is no light off in the darkness. I can depend only on my headlights. Exposed for being an internet user with ad block? Come the fuck on. Light reflects off the rear view mirror. It's a motorcycle. There's a motorcycle headed toward the same destination as we are at terrific speed at this late hour. With a roar, the bike effortlessly passes by the side of my Jeep. The seal of the police. Perhaps there's been an accident or something. But I don't recall hearing about an accident or anything on the radio. Cheryl is sleeping. A child should not be awake at this hour. I wonder if she's dreaming about something. Tomorrow I have planned to take her to the amusement park. Maybe she's dreaming about riding the merry-go-round. I glance over at Cheryl's sleeping face, and then return my eyes forward. The lighted area of the road almost appears to be belched out from the darkness as it moves towards me. Huh? Something enters my field of view. It's the motorcycle from just before. It is lying on its side on the shoulder of the road. No doubt about it, it's the same motorcycle that just passed me. There's no sign of the driver. It looks like the driver smashed into the surface of the rocks by the side of the road while trying to avoid some kind of obstacle, and thus that part of the motorcycle has been destroyed. I carefully check the way in which my vehicle is headed. It's so weird, reading the way this is, laid out. I carefully check the way in which my vehicle is headed. However, I don't see anything that could be an obstacle to my advance in the area, illuminated by the headlights. A strange atmosphere creeps in around. The radio reception begins to become erratic. Perhaps I should turn back, but my foot persistently pushes down the accelerator with no intention of letting off. You can no longer turn back now. Something murmurs within me. Please increase your speed some more. Yeah, it's a fan translation. Follow the commas. Be aware of grammar and punctuation. Thanks for that pro tip, Dweller. Reading pro tips from Dweller, by the way. Punctuation is a thing. Cheryl's eyes are closed. She is dreaming. I know that I should be awake. But what is this uneasy feeling? I feel as if my body is not totally my own. It's like some strange being that is not me, is controlling me. Like I'm floating. My eyelids are heavy. As the steering wheel leaves my hand, it creates the illusion of setting the course on its own. Freezing cold, uneasiness. Almost like being ready to fall asleep. I'm just barely conscious, and now at my limit to maintain even that. When I saw the human figure on the road, I cut the wheel hard, and then there was nowhere else for my Jeep and I to go, but down into the darkness below the cliff. The silence pierces my ears. As the wind blew, it was accompanied by piercing cold. Where am I? I can feel light faintly passing through my eyelids. I don't seem to be hurt. That much is clear to me because I don't feel any pain in my body. No, perhaps I've suffered an injury that doesn't cause any pain. I slowly try opening my heavy eyelids. Out of season, snow is pouring into the town. Other than the sound of droplets of ice hitting the ground, there's nothing else to be heard. That is what is assuredly written on the sign by the side of the road. Without realizing it, Cheryl and I have reached our destination. All my memories up to that point are gone. The wind is blowing in. When I take a look next to me, I am shocked. The passenger door has been left open. Cheryl is nowhere to be seen. Silent Hill. This town, which should just be a resort area, appears to have become just like a ghost town for some reason. Or maybe it was waiting for us to arrive. Or perhaps the town just nestled up to us. So now I am alone. Cheryl is not here. While I was sleeping, no, while I was knocked out, Cheryl opened the passenger door and stepped out alone into this tourist spot that is ruled by an unsettling silence. And then she left me to head somewhere. I tightly closed my jacket around my neck and set off on foot in search of Cheryl. I wonder what in the world happened here. Nothing makes any sense. The silence, the out-of-season snow, and strangest of all, the entire town is wrapped in a thick fog. What is going on? Alright, we have to make a choice. A or B. Cheryl's destination is... Is there no one in the town? This is going to be Twitch Plays Silent Hill play novel. A. B, B, A. 2, 3, 4. A is the first one. I'm going to go with A. I stood ready. What are they? With beast-like rage, they have closed in to right where I am. And then my vitality is sucked away by these strangely shaped monsters until I finally lose consciousness. Sybil Bennett. She's a full-time police officer working in the neighboring town of Brames. There was no one else in the cafe other than her and Harry. She took a seat at the counter and waited for Harry to awaken. I'm just going off of, I picked a number in my head, and I figured the first, either A or B, whichever one hits that number first, I would choose. The number was 5. There was 5 A's before there was 5 B's. I suddenly awoke. Where is this place? Why am I here? Was I brought here by someone? There is no boundary between dream and reality, just confusion. As I lay on the bench seat in the cafe, my eyes slowly begin to focus. The woman sitting at the counter stands and folds her arms. She walks over and looks down at me. She's wearing a police uniform. The woman smiles a little bit, as she appears to be relieved that I have regained consciousness. It looks like you have come around. Who are you? I try talking to the unfamiliar woman. I'm Sybil. Sybil Bennett. I'm here because all communication with this town suddenly went dead, and so I came to investigate. I'm Harry Mason. I brought my daughter to this town for some sightseeing, but on the way there was an accident and I lost consciousness. Oh yeah, Sybil. You haven't seen a little girl in this town, have you? A little girl? No, I haven't seen her. When I came to after the accident, my daughter was nowhere to be seen. The passenger door was open and she was gone. Are you familiar with this area? There's no sign of anyone. And what is going on with the snow at this time of year? Just what in the world has happened in this town? I said all of this while breathing deeply. I'm afraid I don't know either. I still haven't seen anyone other than you. It's like the town is as silent as a graveyard, left without even the means to contact any neighboring towns. I see. You also had an accident, right? I thought it was a good idea to head to the police station in this town alone, on my motorcycle, but I guess I was going a little too fast. A girl suddenly jumped out onto the road. I'm pretty sure it was a girl. I almost hit her. I cut the handlebars hard in order to avoid her. After that, I can barely remember anything. When I came to, I was lying in the street in front of this cafe, so naturally I came in here to get out of the snow. And then I found you sleeping there. I was having some kind of a terrible dream. As for if I made it here on my own, I don't remember at all. Just what in the world has happened in this town? What is going on with everything? Well, the situation is definitely strange. I'll head back to Brames for reinforcements, and then return here. How about you? Sybil stood and fixed her collar with resolute fortitude. I've got to look for Cheryl. There's no other way I can just leave her here alone. I see. Well, I'll give you this then. You never know what might happen under these circumstances. If you feel threatened, then pull the trigger without hesitating. I take the gun into my hand. Thanks. I hope I don't have to use it. Thank you, but I'm no good with guns. You hate how I pronounce Brahms? Brahms? 5 A's before B's again. Thank you, but no. Oh, thank you, but I'm no good with guns. I haven't even touched one. I can't handle it. Amazed, Sybil takes a deep breath. It's simple. Kill the Batman. I'll show you how to use it. See, first hold it in your right hand. Then place your forefinger on the trigger. I reluctantly followed her instructions. Tina, the way that it's spelled, where I live in Texas, they actually is a place called Brahms, and everybody pronounces it as Brahms. But there's also an ice cream shop that is spelled exactly the same as the town, and everyone pronounces that as Brahms. So, I don't know. Fuck yourself. I'll say it how I want. I reluctantly followed her instructions on how to say Brahms. Like this? Yes. Now place your left hand on your right hand so that it doesn't move. Then all you have to do is slide this, fix your aim, and pull the trigger. Like this. Bang. It actually went off. He shot the gun. He shot the gun at Sybil. Bang. The bullet grazes Sybil's cheek and penetrates the wall of the cafe. One of the pictures on the wall falls. Hey! You need to watch it. I'm sorry. I was just doing what you said and it just... No, it's not. And it's just a few centimeters over, and you would have been a murderer. I lost even more self-confidence. Well, it's all right. Please use it carefully. Well then, I'm going. Before you fucking shoot me, you dumbass. The sound of the door closing reverberated woefully inside the cafe. After being left alone in the cafe, I gazed at the handgun Sybil gave me for a little while. And then I thought about Cheryl, who had disappeared in this town. The figure I saw in the fog, that was definitely Cheryl. But she didn't answer my calls, and she was quite possibly moving away from me. I don't understand. I'm getting a bit mixed up. Still, the one thing I know for sure is that Cheryl has vanished into this town. All I can do is look for her. I may not have any knowledge of the surroundings or any clues, but I won't find Cheryl if I stay here. I stood up energetically and placed my hand on the cafe door. Onomatopoeia for radio static. There's no sound effect for the static. It's just onomatopoeia. there's my static. Something is making noise. What is that noise? It's somewhere inside the cafe. It's somewhere outside the cafe. Clearly the static is G. 2 for B, 1 for A. 3 for A, 4 for A. 4 for B. And then a C, which doesn't count. And then another C. Oh my god. Wait. Is that 3? That's 4. And finally another B. Alright, Mastress. It's somewhere outside the cafe, then. Placeholder for missing scene. Click through to go to next scene. Oh, this is going to be magical. It's an unfinished fan translation. Whew, boy. This is why I was doing it through the browser, because from all the information on the page, the actual ROM is missing a lot of stuff that the browser should have. But apparently there's still stuff missing. Oh, this is going to be good. After leaving the cafe, I decided to first head toward that alley from before. There was a monster, guys. But I guess it just left. It GGG'd away. Those punks, the GGs. Black figures. Why did the font change? Oh. Black figures fly about in the heavens as if searching for prey. I then come to realize a constant. The static on the radio changes based on their movements. The closer the monsters come to me, the louder the static gets. My sight is hindered by the fog, and on top of that, the weather is so bad that snow is falling. So this is extremely important information. Tina! There was a scene here. It's gone now. I hope, Sean, it switches to Comic Sans throughout this. Oh god, my mouth is already getting dry. This is going to be excellent. I run through the snow that appears to have no intention of stopping. Increasing my speed each time, the static comes in on the radio. I proceed into the fog. My sake will fix that. That's true, I'm not drinking my sake. I was drinking my water for my throat, but I still have plenty of sake left. I guess that'll be the drinking game. I'm going to take a drink of sake real quick. And, every time there's a missing scene or a untranslated portion of the game, then I'll take a drink. So that's for the first missing scene. Am I going to play PT? Well, all I have is Punity, and I already played it, Popcorn Boy. I don't have a PS4 and real PT. Following the thin thread of my memory, I finally arrive at the alley from before. The evil atmosphere has dissipated, and light pours in along with snow from in between the buildings. I move into the alley, and it dead ends after a bit. At the end of the alley, I see a familiar sketchbook that appears to have been thrown away. The likeness of me that Cheryl drew is on the cover of the sketchbook. 1 second. I got something for this. Wait a second. Hold on. I got something for this. Perfect. We'll just stick this right here. Alright. At the end of the alley, I see a familiar sketchbook that appears to have been thrown away. The likeness of me that Cheryl drew is on the cover of the sketchbook. This is definitely Cheryl's. I try opening it. Inside the following is written in red ink. To school. She's at the school. Along Levin Street, I slip through the back door of a house that had a doghouse, and then head for the school. The surroundings gradually fill with darkness, and only the flashlight on my chest illuminates the strange street. I pass through the entrance to the elementary school grounds. When I open the door that leads into the school building, I see that even more darkness is waiting for me inside. Is it possible that Cheryl scribbled those words, to school? I can't be sure whether Cheryl is here or not. It's just that I haven't a clue other than that sketchbook. A map of the school has been tacked to the side wall of the entrance with a rusted thumbtack. After removing the map from the wall, I place it in my pocket and push open the heavy door that leads into the interior of the school building. My footsteps and the creaking of the hallway, they sound like screams as their reverberations rock my eardrums. I had been walking carefully step by step, but without realizing it, I had begun to run. There is no sign of anyone. The silent innards of the school building are dark, and with only the flashlight on my chest, it is impossible for me to see any of the details. Cheryl doesn't have a flashlight, so if she came in here and got lost, then she probably wouldn't even be able to walk around. Yeah, the font changed again. Hey, what's up, DJ Kira? This is indeed the GBA play novel. It's a fan-translated version that's apparently unfinished, so we're in for some good times. But yeah, expect the next couple of however many hours it takes me to finish this to basically be Silent Hill the audiobook. Since I have my flashlight turned on, she should be able to notice me easily. At least I have that modest hope. Take a drink every time the font changes too. I like that. I'll drink some more. Kanpai, everybody, to the new font. I then notice that I have come to the entrance to the music room. I place my hand on the heavy door. When I open the door, I see that the inside of the room is large, and there is a grand piano placed in its center. As I sit on the chair of the piano, I'm shocked. The seat is still warm, as if someone had been sitting here just a few minutes before. Cheryl's smile runs through the back of my mind. Cheryl often played the cheap upright piano in our home. It had become nice background music when I was working. Perhaps Cheryl had come to the music room? I gently opened the cover over the piano keys. I noticed that there is red mixed in among the black and white. I try touching the liquid. It has a lukewarm feel. It is still holding heat. It's definitely blood. My heart pounds in my chest like an alarm bell. The large amount of blood spilled on the keys. That's a large amount? If this is Cheryl's blood, then she may no longer be alive. I wipe the stain off my hands onto my jeans, stand, and leave the music room. And sake burps. Ugh. At the same time I closed the door, thought I heard someone scream. I thought I heard someone scream. Maybe it was just my imagination. I walk down the hallway. The sleety mixture of snow pounds hard against the windows facing the courtyard. I take a look through the window, down at the dark courtyard. The not-so-large courtyard is dotted with areas in which withered plants are growing. If they're withered, how are they? Never mind. In addition to that, an old clock tower is faintly visible. From here, I cannot determine what time the clock is pointing to. Wait. Something appears to be wriggling about in the darkness. An animal? No, it's dark and I can't see so well, but it's slowly moving on 2 legs. It appears to be searching for prey. At that moment, the radio I had clipped to my chest suddenly began making noise. As I return my sight to the hallway, a sharp pain runs through my thigh. Oh, look at him dance! It's also not a great child, it's a mumbler. PAL version confirmed. Yeah, the picture's going to stay up the whole time. There's nothing else on that side of the window anyway. And it's a beautiful piece of art. When I look down, I see that the tips of those long claws are piercing my thigh. Those oddly shaped monsters, they are posed like they want to hug me, and have gathered around my waist. They are about to bite me. I instantly pushed the monster away with my hands, or readied the handgun and fired. All right. With my right hand, I push on its head part. On its head part? With force and knock it away. It then totters and falls down on its face. I guess its face part. That was when I noticed that I had been completely surrounded by those monsters. I like how the Flauros is covering some of the text. Ow! Or as Richard Braintree would say, ouch! I hit it, but its long claws dug deeper into my thigh, widening the wound. What the hell is a mumbler? Normally, in the Japanese version and the North American version, they're creatures that don't show up until the sewers, like the second part of the sewers in Silent Hill 1. But for the PAL version, they switched that model with the Grey Children in the school because the Grey Children looked too much like children for censors. So they had to make some edits, and they just kind of switched some monster models around. With my right hand, I push on its head part with force and knock it away. Well, I read that. I ready the gun. I fix my aim on their heads and pull the trigger with my trembling index finger. I continue to shoot as each one of them appears. The smoke from the gunpowder began to fill the air around me, so I placed one hand over my mouth. I continue to shoot as each one of them appears. Wait, did it just give me the same text twice? There we go. Even after the noise from the radio had stopped, I could only stand there, paralyzed in utter amazement among their corpses. Is Cheryl all right? She shouldn't have been carrying anything that could be used as a weapon. I begin running. I can't just stand around. There's not a moment to lose. Cheryl is waiting for me. Wait a minute. Suddenly my vision became hazy. Or something, and my eyes? Suddenly my vision became hazy, or something, and my eyes? I'm not having a stroke, right? That sentence doesn't make sense. I'm drinking more sake. When I look back, I see that all the bodies of the monsters have unexpectedly vanished. Trina. My brand. My eyes. I have special eyes. I see that all the bodies of the monsters have unexpectedly vanished. What? Was I hallucinating or something? I pulled the guide map out of my inner pocket and shine the flashlight on it. And then I confirm that there is a boiler room located in the basement. My feet naturally began to take me there. When I look back, I see that all the bodies of the okay. I descended the stairs to the basement, taking one step at a time. A school building without light. As I move forward, I am beset on all sides by absolute darkness. As I head towards new fear, get it? And new enemies, my feet have no intention of stopping their advance. When the hell did he grab the map? He picked up the map when he got to the school. You must have missed that part of the story. There was a rusty thumbtack. It was tacked to the wall when he first got here. Mastress, I'm glad you're enjoying it. If I had a fireplace and a webcam, I would just be reading this like in a smoking jacket in front of a fireplace. Sadly, I do not. Maybe next year. But oddly enough, I don't have a sense of justice. I just want to make sure that Cheryl is safe, to catch her in my arms. That is my only goal. The boiler is not running. If I simply press the switch in front of me, then this eerie machine should begin operating. However, I just stand still. I try pushing the switch, but the boiler doesn't do anything at all. So I try opening the switchboard cover below the switch. It appears that I must somehow supply power from the main power supply to the boiler. The power supply is on the right. From the left of the switchboard, a thick pipe extends out and is connected to the boiler. Got it. Holy shit, there's puzzles. So I have an instinctive feeling that by pushing this switch that something outrageous may happen. although at the same time I also noticed my daughter Cheryl's scream run through my heart, like a sense of duty that makes me feel that I must push the switch. White text on a bright background. God damn it. Fuck my eyes some more, please. I slowly push the switch in. The entire school building shudders as if it were a giant ship. The entire elementary school building appears as if it has been swallowed by Cheryl's heart as she stands alone in the darkness. I understand that I must do something. To the courtyard, the darkness softly whispers to me. The clock tower looks to be about tall enough to reach the third floor of the school. At its base, there is a small door, about big enough for an adult to enter while bent down. The door solemnly opened. After opening, the door seems to beckon the one standing in front of it to enter with an irresistible mental energy. I cannot resist that power. As I enter, the door closes with a hopeless thunder. As I enter what should be a comma, the door closes with a hopeless thunder. I'm sorry, I have to read some of these lines back to myself to make sure that I'm not, insane. Inside the clock tower, a physiologically loathsome stench hung in the air. However, the smile of my beloved daughter in my heart lessens my uneasiness. So now she's smiling in your heart? I thought she was screaming in your heart. And lets me forget my fear, if even for only a moment. Reassured, I place my foot on the ladder leading underground, with my greatest motive, called love. Did Neil Breen write this? The inside finally became a small passage about large enough for an adult. I run. Trusting that I will see her smile ahead, I run forward, stomping on concrete stained with the smell of death. Once I climb the ladder at the end of the tunnel, there will be no going back. I mutter Cheryl's name one more time. The depressing sound of the door closing echoes throughout the courtyard. Where am I? A raw, warm breeze brushes past my cheeks, his ass cheeks. The view lets me know that this is like a completely different world from the school I was just in. Once I think, where am I? Let me read that back. Once I think, where am I? Whoops, I accidentally skipped. God, my mouse. I'm sure that was important. I don't remember this being here before. I mutter. This is definitely the school I was just in. The placement of the trees and the construction of the building. However, an overpowering feeling of nausea rises up throughout my body. A revolting, horrible smell, like that of the stench of cutting into rotten meat, thickly wafts throughout the air and is nearly visible to the eye. Oh my god. Hold on. It's wafting into my nose. I begin to run. I can no longer bear to stay in this spot. By the time I place my hand on the door that leads inside the school building, I no longer have the strength left to tell how long I was running. Maybe it was only for an instant. The school building has dramatically changed. Metal grated floors, blood-covered walls, corpse-like puppets hanging everywhere. It's like a nightmarish scene in which everything is isolated from the real world. In spite of that, I run. I'm searching for Cheryl. The unpleasant metallic sounds of my footsteps resonate throughout the inside of the school. And then I open the door to the teacher's room. Perhaps the door is not installed correctly, as it took me several forceful tries to force it open. Once I enter the room, I am shocked. Desks are strewn about, and a raw, rotten stench rules the room. I call the police to get help? Call home where no one should be. I wonder if anyone's tried to speedrun? Yeah, Yoshio. People have actually done speedruns of this, although there's a free world record to anybody who wants to do the Sybil. Like, there's a Harry campaign and a Sybil campaign. And free world record to anybody who plays the Sybil campaign. Nobody else has done it, or at least nobody submitted anything on speedrun. B. Call home where no one should be. Without knowing why, I dialed my home number, where no one should be. Maybe there is a chance that Cheryl has already returned home. With slight hope, the phone is ringing. The mechanical, electrical sound repeats over and over. Then all of a sudden, it stopped. Hello. The voice of a man I do not know escapes from the receiver. Hello. Who is this? From the receiver, I hear a gasp. Click. The phone went dead. I stood bewildered for a bit, with the receiver pressed against my ear. There's a man in my house, where no one should be. A man I don't know. I gently hang up the receiver, and for a bit, I am captivated by that blue telephone. I begin to leave the room. Ring? My heart rapidly contracts. The mechanical bell sound echoes throughout the room. I nervously approach the telephone and once again pick up the receiver. Daddy? Help me! It's Cheryl. There is no mistaking it. I firmly press the receiver against my ear. Daddy? Where are you? Cheryl! Is this Cheryl? At that moment, Cheryl's voice is replaced with a busy signal. I knew it, I think. Cheryl is here. Being located in the residential area, many children probably come to this school. The interior of the elementary school is larger than I imagined. Including classrooms, there are a lot of rooms, so locating Cheryl will be extremely difficult. If Cheryl wasn't brought here by someone and instead came here of her own free will, then perhaps she might be in that one room. I spin around, run to the stairs at the end of the hall, and then sprint up them. I have come to the library, and my eyes are drawn to the open book here. It was a children's book, a pharmaceutical book, or a dictionary of religious science. Oh my god, 3 options? Option C. A dictionary of religious science. Depending on the region, each have the characteristics of having individual doctrines. From ancient times, the practice of offering a living sacrifice was the only way to avoid disaster. Most believers are those who have chosen to renounce the world for the sake of their beliefs, while those believers who cannot yet give up their material possessions need to deepen their knowledge of the sacred texts. However, some believers have a tendency to strictly hide the fact that they are believers from others. This is because they believed that if the fact that they are believers becomes known, then their effectiveness would become nothing. What? Hold on, I'm trying to process this information. This is because they believed that if the fact that they are believers becomes known, then their effectiveness would become nothing. Even with black magic, which is thought to have vanished in present times, its magical spells are actively researched in such areas. In that process, an altar set alight with a sacred flame and a symbolic seal were required. Then by summoning an evil being and bringing it to contact with a saint, a new existence is said to be able to be created. In this case, the saint is not limited to a priest, as an inanimate object can also be used. You mean like the Mother Stone? Nakihona? I become gripped with the sense that my actions have been controlled by someone this entire time. Coming to the library, seeing that specific page in the open book, it's almost like a bunch of strangers on the internet are choosing my path for me. Even whatever it is that I must do now, it is a decision that is out of my hands. Everything that has happened has been in someone's hands. I have gradually come to understand this. Go home, Flauros, you're drunk. Even still, I probably cannot determine my own course. I accept the direction of the Unseen One, to whom I must obey. When did Harry join the fucking cult? Who talks like this? In order to find Cheryl, there is no other alternative. I now know where it is I need to go. As I journey there, I walk firmly, stepping forward one step at a time. I descended a staircase from which uncomfortably warm air flows and find an elevator at its base that invites me to descend even further as its doors slowly open run-on sentence. Once I enter its doors... once I enter, its doors close, and in the next moment, with a rusty clunk sound, the elevator begins to descend at a high rate of speed. Just how far down is it going? All I can do is go with the flow. I can go with the flow. Gradually, the elevator and I are enveloped in hot, humid air. The elevator stops, and I step off as its doors open. Beyond a short passage, a dazzling light emitted from a small room which has been waiting for my arrival. Oh God! If you are under 18, please look away. Please do not report my Twitch channel. I'm so sorry, guys. I had no idea something so vulgar would be in this game. In the center, the fires of hell burned, and everything made it look like this room was meant for prayer. And then it was there. It slowly moved around the enormous sconce from which flames and ash rose. The lizard looks to have suddenly mutated. Its outer shell is a mucous membrane type. It just stares at me, and with a surprisingly comfortable speed, it looks for a chance to attack. Here, I fired the gun at its large body. I am no match for this enemy with the weapons I am carrying. Running is the best bet. Silent Hill, the abridged game. I am no match for this enemy with the weapons I am carrying. Running is the best bet. I was overwhelmed by its size. I've got to escape. I don't stand a chance with the feeble weapon in my pocket. I look for an escape route. However, the entrance I came through is now closed by a thick, solid metal fence, without any opening which I could slide through or duck under. I cannot escape. At that moment, a part of my memory was suddenly awakened. Definitely in the library, in the teacher's room. Yeah, the drunk Flauros just randomly appearing in places is great. Run away from the living taco? That's no taco. BB, BB, and B. Teacher's room. In the teacher's room. The phone call I received. Cheryl's cries dance about in my memory. That's right. I cannot let myself die here. Cheryl is waiting somewhere for me to rescue her. She is still alive. I raised my head. Its hard scales shined in the light from the hellfires. It must have a weak point. If I can just hit that. I stood my ground and waited for its attack. I let it draw as close as I could, inside its mouth. If I can just fire blindly in there. I'm sorry, I'm not very mature. It had drawn close, and then its mouth sprung open. It looked as if it were planning to swallow me whole. My fingers trembled at its size. I'm gonna drink some more sake, you guys. We're just gonna call this a missing scene, why don't we? I'm gonna need something stronger. I can no longer hesitate. This turned into fucking 50 Shades of Grey. I aimed at the inside of its mouth and quickly pulled the trigger. Over and over. Over and over. The sound of gunshots rang out from my weapon for as long as I had ammunition. And then I lost consciousness. When I came to, I found my... I'm sorry. Deep breath. When I came to, I found myself in the middle of a dark room. Where is this? I wondered to myself. This is seriously getting too funny. The monster from before has vanished. I heavily stood up and then waited, motionless for a bit until my eyes came into focus. Somehow this looks to be the boiler room. It is oddly quiet. Maybe I was dreaming. My very exhausted body seems to have also recovered somehow. The low hum of the boilers strangely calms my nerves. And then I sense the presence of a person, and I shift my gaze. There was a girl standing there. She was wearing dark blue clothing, and her light brown hair was neatly combed. The girl was just staring right at me. Once I noticed her and began to step towards her, she completely disappeared, as if her body just dissolved into the air in the room. I was alone in the room again. What was that? After standing for a bit, I let out a long breath, and then placed my hand on the door at the entrance. Sunlight is blocking out the text because it's too bright for white text on a bright background. It's shining into the hall of the school building. As usual, the snow's still outside. Snow is still outside, but I am gripped with a strange feeling of relief, as if cancerous cells had just been removed from me. Filled with relief, I slowly walk toward the exit of the school building, and then I learn that Cheryl is not here. From the loud sound of the church bells that seem to call out to me. Jesus Christ, it's easier to read the blanked out newspapers in Silent Hill 2. I begin to run toward... Oh! Font change. More sake. None of us will survive this stream. Nothing more true has been said, Tam. I don't think I'm going to make it to 24 hours, guys. I should have changed, the order that I was playing these if I would have known. I begin to run toward the church on a road half covered in mud. Snow falls above my head, some of which freezes my hair as chilly air flows by. When I reach the church, I push open the heavy door without hesitation. A cross is mounted on the front wall. Oh my god, sake burps. Sorry, I'm regaining my composure. A cross is mounted on the front wall. Long benches are lined up on both sides of a small walkway. It was as if time had stopped for this familiar style church. In front of the altar, a sly-looking woman with cold eyes looks down at me with an eerie grin. Grammar is fun, isn't it? As I walked up to her, stepping one step at a time, you don't have to repeat that you're stepping a step at a time. That's what stepping is. She gazed at me without blinking. She looked as if she had predicted that I would arrive. Were you ringing that bell? The woman snorted with a humph. I've been expecting you. It was foretold by gyromancy. What are you talking about? I knew you'd come. You want the girl, right? The girl? You're talking about Cheryl. My eyes grew wide. I see everything. You know something? Tell me. Stay back. The woman held the palm of her hand out at me and then lowered her chin in a way that suggested, please calm down. Nothing is to be gained by floundering about at random. You must follow the path of the hermit, concealed by Flauros. What? What are you talking about? I asked once more without hiding my bewilderment. Here, the Flauros, a cage of peace. It can break through the walls of darkness and counteract the wrath of the underworld. These will help you. Make haste to the hospital before it's too late. The woman held up a strange object and then softly placed it on the desk on top of the altar. Wait! Don't go yet. I will believe that woman's story. Her story was unclear and I don't understand it. I cannot just carelessly believe her. Oh, okay. Welcome back, Maria. This is the most magical thing. This is a Christmas miracle. B, A, B. B, definitely B. Her story was unclear and I don't understand it. I cannot just carelessly believe her. I thought that insane woman's behavior and the details of her story were questionable. Questionable? Okay. That's one way to spell batshit crazy. All that remains in the church is the reverberations of the sound of a door closing. I go after that woman. I am convinced that woman definitely knows some secret of some sort. However, the knob on the door that she went through will not turn at all. It must be locked from the other side. Damn! Now I am the only one left in the church. Almost if taken from a nightmare. This space has heat. This warmth. It feels like it is protecting me from something. That is the best way to describe the heat. I move away from the door and begin walking to the altar that woman was at. The object that the woman was just holding has been placed there. The flauros. That is certainly what that woman had called this. I tried picking it up, and then I place it back on top of the desk right away. It is power. The overwhelming power of the gods rests inside this four-sided object. It was a sensation like an electrical current passing into the palm of my... How do you fucking know all this, Harry? I'm sorry. It was a sensation like an electrical current passing into the palm of my hand, and then power moving throughout every nook and cranny in my body. I pick it up once more. This time I calmly take it into my hand, and then place it in my pocket. For some reason I am convinced that this object will help me find Cheryl. I pick up the key that was next to the flauros, open the door of the church, and rush out into the heatless snow world again. Hospital? That woman certainly said something about one. Alchemilla Hospital. The only hospital I could find on the map was that one. Just Alchemilla. No Brookhaven. No Cedar Grove. I could see my breath as I exhaled while I headed towards the entertainment district. The bridge to the entertainment district has been raised so that boats can pass by it in the river below. In other words, it is split in the middle and is fixed in a raised position that makes it look like the Japanese katakana character Fun? I don't know what... It's not properly displaying the character. I enter the nearby drawbridge control room, place the key I was holding into the control panel, and forcefully turn it to the right. While emitting a sound like an old woman laughing, the bridge finally begins to lower, inviting me to the entertainment district. After crossing the bridge, I shudder. The temperature is gradually declining. Or maybe it is just a result of the thing inside me that produces nervousness and fear. On this wide road, there is not a single motorcycle running. What? I am running right down the center of it. If I continue forward, Alchemilla Hospital should be on the right. An old building appears in the thick fog. On the signboard, Alchemilla appears in faded letters. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, Scumbag Soul. Like, your brain? Its eeriness caused me to hesitate for an instant, but in the next moment I placed my hand on the cold gate. Open the heavy hospital gate, and then open the door directly to my right that has entrance written on it. The inside of the hospital is wrapped in silence. To the left, there is a reception area in which various papers are neatly placed on a shelf. Waiting benches are lined up along the back of this hall, and a television is pointed at them. I do not feel the presence of any patients or even any people. Only faint light pours in through the windows from the cloudy sky. Ugh. That's what I'm saying, Bude. I underestimated the power of this game. I probably should have saved this for later in the marathon. The hall is filled with a trace scent of alcohol, which penetrates my nose. I begin walking. After passing through the waiting room, I reach a long corridor. I open the door marked Examination Room. At almost the exact same time as I opened the door, a man inside jumped up out of his chair. He's holding a handgun in his right hand. Ho! Hid behind the door in a panic. I think that's supposed to be hide. Immediately counterattack with my gun. I mean, I don't want to have any bias based on my vocal tones. Immediately counterattack with my gun. Hide behind the door in a panic. I'm sorry, the subliminal suggestion was too strong. Immediately counterattack with my gun. I instantly ready my gun. That plump man appeared to realize that I was a human. Was Kaufman supposed to be fat? He never really came off as being kind of fat, I guess. But as soon as he saw... well, plump. But as soon as he saw the gun, his eyes grew wide. Oh, wow. So, Kaufman says that line instead of Harry? Hold it. Stop. Don't shoot. Wait. I'm not here to fight. After I lowered my gun, the man sat down in his chair in a way that showed that he was relieved, and also some of his junk. Thank God. Another human being. My name is Harry Mason. I'm in town on vacation. Do you work here? The man nodded. I was truly relieved. Silent Hill, which has become a habitat for strange monsters. This is my first contact with someone from this town. I'm Dr. Michael Kaufman. I work at this hospital. So maybe you can tell me what's going on. The man who called himself Kaufman once again stirs in the chair he is sitting in. I really can't say. I was taking a nap in the staff room. When I woke up, it was like this. Everyone seems to have disappeared. And it's snowing out. This time of year. He looks off at the floor of the examination room. There, on the floor, the corpse of a still warm monster lay on its side. Something's gone seriously wrong. Did you see those monsters? Have you ever seen such aberrations? Ever even heard of such things? You and I both know creatures like that don't exist. Yeah. And then I turned to face him as I realized something. Have you seen a little girl anywhere? I'm looking for my daughter. She's only 7. Short, black hair. She's missing? I'm sorry. But with all these monsters around, I highly doubt that she's... Sorry. I didn't mean to alarm you. Your wife, she's here with you? She died 4 years ago. Now it's just me and my daughter. I see. I'm sorry. Well, I'd better be going. I can't just sit around here doing nothing. So long. Good luck out there. Bang! Automatopoeia for door closing. The examination room door shuts powerlessly. Powerlessly? If it doesn't have how did it bang? If there's... never mind. Dr. Michael Kaufman. Oddly enough, I have completely memorized that name. Huh? I suddenly noticed that there is something on the floor that looks like a white scrap of paper. Tina. Good luck finding your dead daughter, I mean. What is this? I pick it up. Letters have been disorderly scribbled on it. Arrival tomorrow morning. Be prepared. What is this? Check to see if there's anything else. Go after Kaufman. Next one is it? Next one does it? It's B. We can't let him get away. Java. I leave the examination room. Kaufman is nowhere to be found. I begin to run. I pass through the medicine room and reach a planked floor corridor that silently extends in an L shape. I moved forward and found that there was an elevator with a large door at the end of the corridor. I try pressing the buttons beside on the elevator. Nothing happens. It looks like the power is off. There are several doors in the corridor. I begin opening each one in order. I open the door marked Meeting Room. I head inside and close the door behind me. A large table rests in the center of this room, and I notice that there is something glittering on top of it. I grasp the light green key, leave the room, and once again step into the chilly corridor. The next room looks to be the kitchen. I guess that the food for patients is probably prepared here. Various bronze cooking utensils are neatly arranged in order on the stainless steel countertop. It does not appear that anything terribly important is here. I carefully look through the various cooking utensils. Inside a large pot there is nothing at all. While continuing to search to see if there might be some clue here or not, I notice that on the far wall, various objects have been scattered about. I carefully move forward on the wet floor as not to slip. Something is there. I reach out my hand toward the thing in front of me. Pick up the plastic bottle. Pick up the kitchen knife. The bees have it. I picked up a knife that appears to be for kitchen use. Perhaps this will come in handy for something. I only have a limited number of bullets. When the time comes, I might be able to use this as a weapon. I left the kitchen. I crept out into the corridor once more and stood in front of the door that was closest to the elevator. I opened the door, and the reverberations of the sounds of it opening and then closing shake my eardrums. The walls are made of concrete, and a few steps in a staircase leading to the basement, extends like the folds inside the body of a snake. Going to move on. It is dark and difficult to see, but it looks like there is a door at the bottom of the staircase. Be brave, I mutter to myself. Leaving only the echoes of my footsteps, I descend the staircase to hell one step at a time, and then I open the door leading to darkness. A world without light. I could see that the electricity was most likely out in the entire hospital. I pressed the switch on the flashlight on my chest and tried lighting the area. It is creepy, and yet there is nothing noticeably out of place. Chilly air drifts from the cold concrete, and it seems as if touching it would completely rob my body of its warmth. While moving through the corridor, I try opening the doors as I come to them. Of them, one opens with a creak. Emergency generator is written on the machine that occupies most of the room. To reach the second floor and above it did not look like there was any method other than using the elevator. So without hesitation, I turn the machine on. I immediately head for the elevator. I press the up button. The heavy sound of the motor and the sounds of metal parts coming into contact with each other almost sound like intertwined screams. With a ding, the elevator stops, and its doors slowly open. Oh, I need to take another drink. Not sake, I just need some water. I gotta save my sake, because I don't know how long this game is. I don't want to blow through it all right now. I'm gonna need it. The inside of the elevator is large. It seems to be about big enough to accept 3 hospital beds. Buttons for each floor are lined up to the right of the elevator door. They are marked 3, 2, 1, and B from the top down. Except you can clearly see that there's a 4 already. Well, what now? I have already tried moving to every floor. With nothing else to do, I re-entered the elevator and then could not believe my eyes. Of the buttons for each floor, 3 was definitely the highest floor just before. In spite of that, a new 4 button has been added. The elevator doors open with a familiar sound, and I step out onto the 4th floor. Again, I think? A condition extremely similar to that which I encountered after passing through the basement in the clock tower at the elementary school was present right in front of me. Dark red rusted walls, metal grated floors, and a ringing in my ears that seems to creep up from the depths of hell is a menace to my mental state. I open the door in front of me and a long corridor extends beyond it. I very carefully move forward while keeping my eyes fixed on the wall. Could Cheryl be here? The only way to find out is to search this place. Huh. I can hear something in the darkness in front of me. It sounds like the groan of something dragging on the ground. The owner of that groan is slowly closing in on me, but I cannot see what it is for sure with the faint light of my flashlight. I instantly ready my gun or leave this area. The A's have it. Ready my gun. It is probably not human. I firmly grip the gun, position my finger on the trigger, and begin to walk towards it with the gun ready beside my face. Ah! Gross. Eventually, something white enters my field of vision. I had just aimed the flashlight on my chest with my hand and shine light on it. A white figure appeared, which is stooped over like an old woman. It looked to have undergone a grotesque change. The monster has a very large hump on its back, which twitches and moves as if it were alive. In one hand it holds a knife, which it waves as it approaches me. In the instant I readied my gun, the monster began to run. By the time I realized this, it slashed at me. I instantly dodged the attack, and thanks to that, my clothes were slashed, and I had only a scratch on my side. I suppose I was lucky. Damn! I kick it in the face with the bottom of my shoe, and it falls down on its back. Wait, it's standing there, and you kick it in the face? That's a fucking, really high kick. That's a really good martial art kick, Harry. I close my left eye and steady my aim. Even after one shot hit, its movement does not change at all. I fire more bullets at it. It is laughing. In a voice great enough to shake the entire world, it laughs as its face twists and distorts. I cannot give up. When the final bullet, loaded into my gun, hits, it finally stops laughing. This time, it is face down, and I begin crushing it with my foot. Finally, it stops moving. Flauros, I guess. This is insane. Another monster approaches from behind the corpse of the first one. At this rate, all the bullets in the world would not be enough. All I can do is run. Run past the monster in front of me, run past the monster behind me. Looks like the A's have it. Run past the monster in front of me. Nubs, what's a way I can donate without PayPal? If you can't, donate, don't worry about it, Bude. It's fine. I appreciate the thought, though. But, yeah, I think it's only PayPal right now. I can't remember if cards work through Twitch alerts or anything. I don't think so. I thought there used to be a way to, but, I don't know. That's it. If you can't get it to work, don't worry about it. I begin to run towards the monster in front of me. Evading the large swings of its knife, I run down the dark corridor, occasionally stumbling. I see a staircase leading down. I race down it, knowing not whether if something is waiting for me or not at its base. No, I don't have a Patreon or anything like that. I am thinking about Cheryl. Even if she is held prisoner somewhere in this hospital, there is no guarantee that I can rescue here. Here? That I can rescue her, I think that should be. I'm going to drink some sake for that one. It's been a little while. In fact, there is no reason that the staircase I am descending should lead me to Cheryl. I begin to think that all of my current actions are all meaningless. However, generally speaking... Oh my god. Tina, thank you for the $5 donation. Nubs, you are amazing. Keep doing what you are doing. Until this game kills me, I will keep doing what I am doing. Thank you so much, Tina. However, generally speaking, since I arrived in Silent Hill, no, since the day before leaving for Silent Hill, no, even longer ago, no, when I was born, no, before I was born, since the day I met Cheryl, perhaps I have had no choice in my actions, that they have been determined by the someone's will. What? I'm gonna try that again. Since the day I met Cheryl, perhaps I have had no choice in my actions, that they have been determined by the someone's will. As I continue to the base of the stairs, I contemplate, what if my life, up to this point, had just been on one track? Something is clearly changing, and it is for the worse. Going back will not be permitted. I must move forward. Forward. The direction in front of me. Towards things. I put my hands together on my head, and then squeeze my temples tightly by using my elbows. The ringing then begins to sound like a demon is whispering in my ears. However, it doesn't stop. I'm just going to move on. I blindly begin to run. Even if I am to die in this mad land, I must save my beloved Cheryl first. Believing that the answers are beyond me, beyond the door, I know that I must discover at least one clue. Several overlapping square figures are shaking in time with the sound of my heart. It is the wall at the end of the area. Another wall is lies. That wall is lies. Another wall lies perpendicular to it. How can you make, grammar mistakes and then spell perpendicular? There is a door present on this wall with a plate on it that says storehouse. Some chemicals have been placed on the table that is next to the door. There are 3 beakers of different sizes and a test tube. The test tube contains a liquid that is of a different color to that which is in the leftmost beaker. Oh shit, this is a puzzle, isn't it? I found a memo. To create it, you must come up with 1 deciliter of liquid and pour it into the test tube. No more or no less, that man had said. but there are no graduations on the beakers. This makes it impossible to come up with 1 deciliter using these 3 large beakers. Using the 10 deciliter, 7 deciliter, and 5 deciliter beakers, you must create an amount of exactly 1 deciliter. Are you fucking kidding me? Am I making the fucking chemical from Resident Evil? The door won't budge an inch. Harry melted the chain on the door with the completed liquid. What? Wait, what? So it just does it. The door slowly opens with a click. Inside the storehouse, nothing important looking stands out. I carefully edge between the simple metal shelves that have been placed here in a specific arrangement. However, nothing is here that makes this room worthy of being called a storehouse. I think my brain is breaking, guys. I am drawn toward the cabinet in the back of this room. This is because I found the presence of the wooden cabinet strange and unsuitable for this simple room. I approached the cabinet and tried to open it. However, it will not budge. Am I playing the game? Evil fast forward, this is the game. You're looking at the game right now. This is it. This is Silent Hill the Play Novel for the Game Boy Advance. It's super good. Well, I will look at the floor. Whoa! Whoa! I didn't mean to do that. Well, I will look at the floor under the cabinet. I will look inside of the cabinet. I will look on top of the cabinet. Oh, excuse me. It's just burping out little pieces of my brain. It's gonna be okay. Three for C so far. I guess we're going with C. I will look on top of the cabinet. I stood up straight and looked on top of the cabinet. Whoa! Text! Please. Why? Why? Putting force into my fists, I pounded the cabinet's small wooden doors until they broke. It's like every other line. Putting force into my fists, I pounded the cabinet's small wooden doors until they broke. Inside there is nothing of particular value, other than a layer of dust so thick that it... almost appeared as if a cloth had been laid on the cabinet. There is nothing of interest. That's definitely... Yeah, I agree, Kira. I think I'm done using my sake cup. I'm just going to start taking swigs out of the bottle. Ah! My field of vision shakes violently. I lost my balance and fell to the floor. I landed on my butt hard enough for it to be unpleasant. Oh my god. Twinkie. Thank you for, thank you for the $10 donation. Woo! Let me catch my breath. I'm going to read this one more time. My field of vision shakes violently. I lost my balance and fell to the floor. I landed on my butt hard enough for it to be unpleasant. just like Richard in Silent Hill 4. He falls like 10 stories onto his butt, and it's unpleasant. Oh my god. This game is going to kill me. Tam, thank you for following. There I discover something odd. I'm sorry. That's going to take me a little bit. There I discover something odd. Countless lines have been bored into the old flooring, and fiber-shaped wooden chips are exposed. It looks as if someone has moved this cabinet, and then returned it to its original position. Oh! Text change! Times New Roman Bold is back. That's another drink. Blood, please. I think this game is making me go crazy. It's like when Max Landis watched Double Down. I can't tell if I'm laughing or screaming. Whew. The marks on the floor are still fresh. They tell me that some other human probably came down here. Is there something beyond this cabinet? Using my body weight, I slowly push the cabinet from its original position. The existence of... difficult to read text. The existence of the inviting door behind the cabinet seems completely natural. So, of course, I place my hand on it. What is natural about the door hidden behind the cabinet? The room is very inorganic. Oh god, it's so hard to read the text. I thought that said ignorant. While shining my flashlight about, I move through the room and eventually discover a grate in the floor. From between the bars in the grate, I can see a staircase that leads to a lower floor. The grate makes a clunk sound as I open it. It is quite heavy. Even though I am sure of my strength, I do not believe that I could pick it up. After opening the grate... oh god, I can't fucking read this! After opening the grate enough so that I can pass through it, I gently place one foot on the staircase that has appeared. I'm like putting my eyes right up to my monitor to read this shit. Slowly and cautiously, confirming each step as I go, I descend the staircase. Oh, sorry, let me catch my breath here. Confirming each step as I go, I descend the staircase to a mad place in which light cannot reach. Finally, I reach a wide room, much wider than I imagined. I guess this based on the echoes of my footsteps. I am running through this eerie space that lies in the basement of the hospital. It is lifeless, and there is no light. All I can do is run through it. Does this world have an end, or did it even have a beginning? Everywhere I go, all that I do is solve the mysteries that appear, one after the other, and then move on. I understand this and expect that the same situation will continue. Still, all I can do is move forward. My thinking always results in this conclusion. This door has awaited me. I slowly turn the knob. The inside of this room is different from the ones I have encountered up to this point, and I can feel life in here. There are traces and a sense that someone was in this room. I softly pick up the picture frame that was displayed on the desk. Alessa. That is engraved on the picture frame. I gaze at the picture. It is a face that I think I have seen somewhere. You think you've seen somewhere? I mean, you said you could see her plainly in the school, and then she vanished. I try to remember where as hard as I can, but in the end, I cannot remember at all. But I am sure that I have met this girl somewhere, and more than just once. A diary has been placed next to the picture frame. I reach out with my hand and pick up the diary, or pick up the picture. Chewy Don, thank you for the host. I appreciate that. Welcome everybody coming over from Chewy Don's channel. This is Silent Hill the Play Novel. It is a fan-translated version being played through a browser, and boy has this been fucking magical. Oh. Alright. That looks like the A's have it. Pick up the diary. Something is written in the diary. April 15th. From today, this will be my new diary. Lisa secretly gave this to me as a present, and it means that soon I should be able to take my bandages off. A bird landed on a branch of the tree outside my window. I gazed at it for a bit. Seeing those beautiful colors, I thought again that it must be spring. I wish I could play outside like the other children. It is now afternoon, and they have come again. I pretended to be asleep, and it looks like they did not notice. They talk quietly, as not to be heard outside my room. I do not understand the meaning of what they discussed. They never talk in this room, I thought. Gotta get some sleep. Okay, Cyborg Twinkie. Yeah, hopefully this game doesn't kill me. I still have... Oh god, it's only been 8 hours? It's only been 8 hours? I still have this much long? Oh my god. It feels like it's been days playing this game. But yeah, Rach, have a great night. Get some sleep. I'll do my best to still be here and sane and alive, should you return. They talk quietly as not to be heard outside my room. Oh yeah, I read that. April 16th. Someone is talking outside my room. It sounds serious, but it doesn't seem to be about me. Perhaps it's because he doesn't want to disturb me. Even the hospital director has not come to see me much lately. I don't like the director very much, so I'm honestly quite happy. April 16th, P.S. By some strange chance I learned a certain person is coming to visit me. April 17th. Everyone has been in a rush for some reason since before sunrise this morning. Something about a dead person coming back to life. Does that really happen? It is a frightening story, and because of that, my meal was a little late. The cold soup is disappointing. Suddenly I remembered him. Maybe he has forgotten me, but I definitely remember him. Lately I think of him often. I want to see him. It looks like my visitor is coming in the evening on the day after tomorrow. Before then, just once. What? April 18th. It is finally tomorrow. So, it's today. I will not tell anyone about this. If I tell anyone, they will probably strap me to my bed. Before they arrive, the friend that can share my feelings, the only one. I wonder if she will realize this. Tonight, I will go to bed early. April 19th. I must get out of here. For the first time in a while, I have worn my favorite pendant. Does it look good on me? I will write about the results here tomorrow. The results of if your pendant looks good on you? Go home, Alessa, you're drunk. April 20th. The last page is blank. It looks like somebody tore off a portion of it in order to roll up a joint. I place the diary under my arm and prepare to leave the room. However, my eyes once again returned to the picture frame that the diary had been placed next to. She was all alone, but I have Cheryl. The girl in the picture is appealing to me for something. In the painful silence, I can feel a spiritual message. After wavering, I removed the picture from the frame and slid it into my pocket. And then I left the room. Alessa. Alessa. Just who is she? And why was her picture on display in the deep basement of the hospital? And where was that strange feeling of a life that I sensed in that room coming from? I am unable to figure any of it out. And so I am irritated. I head for the examination room on the first floor. All the mysteries of the hospital are surely prepared in that room. Believing so, I race up the stairs while having difficulty breathing. When I open the door to the examination room, I feel the presence of a person and stop moving. The inside of the room is dark. Someone is here. Who is it? Slowly approach, or fire the gun? Aren't we out of bullets? I thought we ran out of bullets on the nurse. Whew. Speaking of difficulty breathing, yeah, seriously. Fire the gun. Big shock there. I readied the handgun. So there's more of you bastards. I can depend only upon my gun in this hospital, which had become a nest for monsters. At the moment I was about to pull the trigger, a woman shrieked. Wait! Don't shoot! I'm human! With my gun still readied, I carefully looked at the woman under the desk. What are you doing under there? Hey, Lisa. Once the woman realized that I was a human, she ran towards me and threw her arms around me like a child would. Finally, someone else who's okay. After mumbling those words in a tearful voice, she held me more tightly. Who are you? My name's Lisa Garland. What's yours? Harry Mason. After we exchanged our simple introductions, I sat in a chair and she sat on the bed, so that we were facing each other. Jaded Oak, thanks for following. The woman that called herself Lisa had blonde hair and an intelligent look to her. Maybe she might know something. At the moment I was about to speak, the woman began talking. Oh my god, music? You can't just throw background music at me after like 2 hours. Let's just enjoy this while it lasts for a moment. This is nice. Some of Yamaoka's best work. At the moment I was about to speak, the woman began talking. Harry, tell me what's happening here. Where is everybody? I must have gotten knocked out. When I came to, everyone was gone. Her voice did not feel like it was coming from her body and was accompanied by a strange reverberation. It's awful. So you don't know anything either? Great. I just don't get it. It's like this is all some kind of bad dream. As I select my words, I have a feeling that even my own words are not coming from my body. Master Salida, thank you so much for the $15 donation. Play novel is amazing. Thanks so much, Nubs. Happy holidays. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Thank you so much, Master Salida. This game, I'm a little sad that I didn't play this sooner, but at the same time, I'm really happy to be playing it right now with all of you guys. Like, this has been... this has been amazing so far. As I select my words, I have a feeling that even my own words are not coming from my body. Yeah, a living nightmare. Let me ask you, have you seen a little girl around here? Short, black hair, 7 years old. I mutter Cheryl in a voice that Lisa would not hear. Okay. A 7-year-old girl. What, she's your daughter? Yes. A 7-year-old girl. I can't say that I have. I was unconscious all this time. I'm sorry. That's all right. This was just as I expected, but I continued asking questions without showing my disappointment. Do you know anything about all that weird stuff in the basement? No. Why? Is there something down there? You don't know? Don't you work here? We're under strict orders never to enter the basement storeroom. After changing the subject to the hospital basement, I began to notice that my thoughts were becoming muddy. So, I really don't know. What did you say was down there? Well, I try as hard as I can to remember the pitiful sight of that room in the basement. However, in trying to trace my memory back to then, that ringing, which had been gone for a while, returned to my ears. A sound like the bells of that church runs throughout my head. Damn! My head! What's wrong? Harry? Harry! Let me help you. Harry. Text change. More sake. I no longer feel the evil presence that I felt in this room. No, in this entire hospital up until just before. From the window, soft light is pouring into the room. Was I dreaming? As I slowly get up, I hear the sound of a door opening. I instantly look toward the source of the sound. The creepy woman I met at the church was standing there with an expressionless look on her face. Am I going to start reading books on stream next? That's what I'm doing right now. It's Silent Hill play novel. You did my head wrong? What? You gotta do it like Henry? No, because Harry actually has, like, expression in his voice. He's not Henry Townsend. Harry sometimes emotes. You were too late. It's you. Yes, Dahlia Gillespie. Tell me everything you know. What's going on? Darkness. She responded before I was even done speaking. The town is being devoured by darkness. The woman continues while maintaining a devout look. Strength must overcome petty desire. Childish sleep talk. I knew this day would come. What are you talking about? I don't understand a word of this. Believe the evidence of your eyes. So I should believe the evidence of my eyes? I understand. I'm glad one of us does, Harry. I am in a situation in which I can only believe what I have seen with my own eyes. The other church in this town, that is your destination. This is beyond my abilities. Only you can stop it now. Have you not seen the crest marked on the ground all over town? So that's what I saw in the schoolyard. What does it mean? It is the mark of Samael. Don't let it be completed. Hey, wait! Dahlia Gillespie. She places an oddly shaped key on an examination table with a tap, spins around, heads to the door, and then opens it. I open the door that she closed and roll out into the hospital corridor. You roll out? You roll out. But she is nowhere to be seen. The other church. But if I exclude the church I already visited, I do not see anything that looks like a church on the map. I slowly open the phone book attached to the payphone in the corridor. In there, a mark is present to guide me. It is next to the phone number for an antique shop in the northeast area of the shopping district. Go to 9-1 if I chose A in 819. Go to 9-6 if I chose B in 819. Wait, I'm supposed to remember my choices? And it's just numbered? I don't know what 819 was. It was probably B, I guess. Whew, boy. After leaving the hospital, I began to walk at a loss. Walk at a loss. It's not that I am tired, but that I am sick of the constant weather. Tina, thanks for hosting. Oh, God. I recall what Kaufman said. He is person that lives in this town. I'm sorry, I just need to take a moment. I recall what Kaufman said. He is person that lives in this town. Yet he did not appear to know why everyone disappeared. When I woke up, it was like this. That is most certainly what he said. Dahlia. She is a mysterious woman. She seems to be holding some secrets, but she always disappears before I can ask her anything. Her timing in meeting me and talking to me was just a little too convenient. Maybe she read the future or something. At any rate, she seemed to have predicted that I would come here, and she spoke about this. And then there's Cheryl's whereabouts. Everything has been unreasonable and illogical. My irritation is increasing, and I will end up losing my cool. The antique shop? Yeah, this is it. For a moment, I was taken with the sense that someone was watching me, but without looking back, I entered the door as if I was being swallowed by it. The inside of the shop is small. I take a look around using my flashlight and find that the place is such a mess that it looks almost as if it has been ransacked by a thief. Is something here? At first glance, I don't think that there's anything here that concerns me. However, I did not miss that which was hidden behind a shelf. I move the shelf step by step, and an eerie passage leading into darkness appears. What's this? Harry! I look back toward the familiar voice. Sybil! Sybil, who should have left for the next town over to call for backup, was there. Oh, I'm glad you're okay. I shouldn't have left you. Things are worse than I thought. It's nuts. What are you doing here? I thought you left town. I saw you go in here, so I followed you. I couldn't get out. All the roads out of town are blocked. Cars have completely stopped running. The phones and radios are still out, too. What about my daughter? Did you see her? No, Sybil shook her head back and forth. Unfortunately, I haven't. I looked down. What about you? Anything? Yeah. I met this bizarre woman. Her name's Dahlia Gillespie. Whoa. There's a storm outside, and there was thunder right as I said Dahlia Gillespie. That was awesome. I don't know if that mic picked it up, but... Her name's Dahlia Gillespie. Do you know her? Dahlia Gillespie. I just met her at the church. Something about her. She is quite a creepy person. She said something about the town being devoured by darkness. Gibberish like that. Any idea what it means? I really don't know. As for me, she said, you can no longer make it time. And such things. What? I did not understand the meaning of. As for me, she said, you can no longer make it time, and such things I did not understand the meaning of. What? We then just looked at each other for a bit, each of us trying to figure out what the fuck we were saying. How is the gun I gave you? Sybil asked with a bright smile. There have been several situations in which I have had to use it. It seems like I have finally gotten used to using it. Well, you know you won't get over that if you don't use it after all. He just said he got used... Sybil brushed her finger on the tip of her nose. Just where is that feeling of emptiness that runs through this room coming from? My body, and the images entering my pupils, it all seems like I am in a dream, and that my mind is... What? Oh, and that my mind is isolated from them. Wow, it is raining super hard out now. Hopefully my power and, everything doesn't go out. Sybil's calls brought me back around. Oh god, if power goes out, that's going to really suck, because my timer will be all fucked up. Hey, Harry. Yeah. What's wrong? Sybil looked slightly irritated and took a long breath. Then she shifted her gaze to the passage behind the shelf. What's this? Just discovered it. Maybe there's something back there. Let's have a look. Wait. We don't know what's back there. I'd better check it out first. I'm a cop. I should go. No, I'm going. Sybil placed her hand over my mouth to keep me from speaking. Even though I look like this, I am a police officer. Please leave everything to me. Think of this as my job. It's getting a little too sexual, Sybil. I remained silent for a bit and then gave in to her. Okay, please be careful. What? Okay, one second. In the actual Silent Hill 1, Harry is like, no, I should go. And Sybil's like, alright, you go. And I always comment, like, she's a police officer. That's a really weird reaction. And in this game, they actually made her react kind of like a cop. Maybe a creepy sexual predator cop. So she goes first? I don't know. Now I'm curious. Now I'm like, we're in for something new. I peer inside the hidden passage. Inside it looks like an unseen barrier of darkness has been set up, which makes it look like a place no one should enter. I intuitively sense that it would be dangerous to move into this passage. It is that kind of passage. The dangerous kind. I talked to Sybil once as she enters the passage. Sybil. Yes? Do you know anything about, well, like some other world? It's like some kind of bad dream. I talked to Sybil. Okay. What are you talking about? I'm not quite sure. I try to make sense of it, but then my mind goes blank. Everything's dark there, and I hear sirens in the distance. Wait, what? Page 28? What do you mean, page 28? It's like I'm reading a book or something. Where the fuck did page 28 come from? Deep breaths. I met this nurse, Lisa. It's like I was there, but not really. It's all a blur. Like some kind of hallucination, you know? I have no idea what you're talking about, Harry. Sybil spoke while shaking her head from side to side. Oh, I was just wondering. Never mind. Harry, you're tired. Yeah, maybe. Am I tired? Yes, I am tired. If that is all it is, then that is fine. If my being tired is what caused me to see all the hallucinations up to this point, then Cheryl should return to me. The only thing is the sensation I am feeling is not that of being tired. Rather, my body feels as if I have been on the floor, sleeping continuously, like a human in cold sleep. And I am feeling the agonizing suffering of not easily being able to escape from that state. Leaving me behind, Sybil steps into the passage. I can no longer see her from where I am at. Oh wow, music! And again, I'm curious, how is this going to work? Harry is supposed to go before Sybil. My field of vision is swaying. I pressed my back to a wall and steadily slid down until I reached the cold floor. The shadows of several of the items in the room expand and contract as the light moves. It is as if a great number of spirits are laughing at me. Eventually, those shadows pounce on me. The bodiless beings bind my hands and feet and corner me until I am unable to move. I cannot speak. One long shadow extends a tentacle towards my neck. Please, stop. I've seen enough hentai to know where this was going. I implore. I hold both of my palms up, but my grammar shadow passes through the areas between my fingers and reaches my neck. I try to speak, but only a gasp comes out that will not reach Sybil. Finally, activity in my brain begins to stop due to a lack of oxygen. I saw stars in my eyes and then nothing at all. I lost consciousness as if I were just going to sleep. My body is freezing. Where am I? I cannot focus my eyes. That's right. This is the antique shop. I am sitting on the floor with my back against the cold wall. I must have dozed off for a bit. My fingers are as cold as ice, and so I cannot move them normally. While chasing around after Cheryl, fatigue must have been building up without me realizing it. However, this is no time to be sleeping. Oh, I wonder how Sybil is doing. I look around the room and see that the eerie passage that was hidden behind the shelf is still open, just as it was before. Sybil is still in there. When she comes out, I will have a word with her. I hope she is okay. It seems like quite a bit of time has passed. I heavily stand and check the gun in my pocket. I then stand at the entrance of the completely dark passage. I have only 3 bullets left. I cannot afford to waste any. Alright, Blood. I'll catch you later, dude. My breathing breaks the silence. I get out the gun and hold it near my temple, with it aimed at the... Wait. Oh, okay, I see. I get out the gun and hold it near my temple, with it aimed at the stomach of that dark demon, and then I begin to walk forward. I am worried about Sybil's safety, so I am guided forward by my quivering feet. Ooh. This is going to wear my throat out so bad. All this reading. After walking for a bit, I sensed light coming from somewhere other than the flashlight on my chest. I leisurely turn off my flashlight and see that something is shining at the end of the passage. I rush forward. I am running toward the light, not unlike how a small insect would. Something is there. Is Sybil all right? Or will I have to confront a monster again? Hey, what's up, Darklight Souls? There was a room at the end of the passage. As I enter the room, the light is so dazzlingly bright that I have to shield my eyes with the back of my hand. There is a simple altar on the wall to the right of where I entered the room. A large flame is coming off of a thick candle, and green smoke is billowing from it. Everything in the room was shaking in the light from that flame. What is this place? Once my eyes adjusted to the light, my line of sight jumped to an unbelievable sight. At first, I thought it was just a well-made doll. A mannequin with a red shirt on. Red? I don't think Sybil's shirt... Never mind. It was on its back, lying in a pool of red liquid, but I soon understood what it was. Sybil. I softly called to her. Her light green shirt... Okay. Her light green shirt had been stained crimson by the flow of red liquid from the back of her neck. I was completely confused. A. Rush to Sybil's side. B. Step back and run away. The A's have it. Sorry, I was muting my mic to cough up a lung. Rush to Sybil's side. Sybil. Sybil, hold on. I shake her shoulders, but she does not respond. Why has this happened? I cover her dead body. Her cold body. Lost in hopelessness, I lost consciousness again. Looks like I went a bad path, which is very different from the original game. I'm not even choosing the path. Chat picked a bad path. Harry? Are you okay? Harry? Harry? Where am I? Harry. Lisa. You were having a bad dream. Was I? Hey, you don't look too good. Are you okay? I'm fine. Nothing you need to worry about. Well, if you're sure... Lisa, do you know a woman named Dahlia Gillespie? Oh yeah, that crazy Gillespie lady. She's kind of famous around here. She never sees anybody, so I don't know that much about her. But I heard her kid died in a fire, and supposedly she's been crazy ever since. Well, she says the town is being devoured by the darkness. Do you have any idea what she's talking about? The town devoured by the darkness. Yes, I think I do. Before this place was turned into a resort, the townspeople here were on the quiet side. Everybody followed some kind of queer religion. Weird occult stuff. Black magic. That kind of thing. As young people moved away, the people figured they'd been summoned by the gods. Evidently, things like that used to happen around here all the time. Before the resort, there wasn't really anything else out here. Everyone was so flipped out. Gotta blame it on something. Then a lot of new people came in and everybody clammed up about it. A cult. Last time I heard anything about it was, gosh, years ago. When several people connected with developing the town died in accidents, people said it was a curse. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm rambling. I'll shut up. No, it's all right. Hey, Harry? What happened to your hand? Oh, this? I just hurt it a little bit. Is it okay? Yeah, Just a scratch. Nothing major. Even if it is just a scratch, there's a lot of blood. If we don't look after it soon... It's okay. Please, don't touch it. Why are you so angry? Sorry, but this does not concern you. I don't want to get you mixed up in this. I'm sorry. The reverberation of Lisa's "I'm sorry" remained in my ears. I wonder how long had I been asleep. I found myself in that antique shop again, lying face down in the same position I was in just a short while ago. Was that another dream? Did I pass out again? I don't want to think so, but maybe this is all just going on inside my head. I could have had a car accident, and now I'm lying unconscious in a hospital bed. I don't know what's real anymore. Sybil's body has vanished. She's gone. Almost as if she was absorbed into the concrete floor. Maybe Sybil never came here in the first place. Just what did I see? A hallucination? A delusion? I want to talk to Lisa. She knows something. She's holding some secret. I will go to see her. Keeping one hand on the wall to support myself, I stumble out of the antique shop. I open the gate to the hospital and then energetically open the door of the examination room. Inside, Lisa is waiting for me. Harry! She changes from looking completely exhausted and rushes over to me in an innocent, childlike way. Glad you're okay. Thank God you came back. I was scared to be here all alone. I'm here now. I was worried too. I'm real happy to see you. I lightly hug Lisa and gently draw away. I then speak while looking into her eyes. Lisa, have you seen a policewoman named Sybil? Sybil? That is the first time I have heard that name. I have not seen her. Since the town has become like this, I have not met any humans other than you. I was irritated that I didn't understand anything that was going on, so I loudly clicked my tongue. What's wrong, Harry? You don't seem yourself. Sorry, I just came to see the truth. Even talking to you now, I wonder if it isn't just a delusion. Yeah, of course, the Fungo remix is where, like, I've done the "This is not a dream, 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 dream." I've done that on stream plenty of times before from Fungo's, like, remix thing. It's really funny. Fungo's got a lot of good stuff like that on his channel. Lisa looks a bit sad. I am me. Nothing has changed. I've just been waiting for you here all along. Saying nothing, I just looked at Lisa. While we were talking, I couldn't be sure if that I was currently sitting here or actually speaking. I'm not even going to try to make sense of that. My voice and my existence were beginning to disappear into the dry air in the room. Hey there, Charlie Zero Gamer. And then the door opened and someone came in. Dr. Michael Kaufman. What? Kaufman just bursts in? And Lisa's... But... Okay. Yes, he definitely said that he was a doctor at this hospital. He said he worked there. He didn't say he was a doctor. He's not a doctor. He's the director. What are you doing? Lisa took a deep breath and half smiled to greet him. This is Harry. His daughter has become lost in this town. He already told me that. Have you found her? No, I shook my head from side to side. Harry, do you know Michael? What version of the game is this? This is the Game Boy Advance Silent Hill play novel. It was only ever released in Japan, and this is a fan-made translation of it that is... Oh boy, is it hilarious. Yeah, when I first visited this hospital, I met him once. I recalled the sight of him holding me at gunpoint. Well, we kinda held him at gunpoint. Weren't you leaving town? I asked sarcastically. It was no good. All the roads are blocked. It's impossible to get out. The three of us just remained silent. I grew up in this town. I know this area. As far as I could see, all the roads leading out of town have become precipitous cliffs, or were blocked with large boulders. We are completely isolated. Lisa's smile disappeared. Well, what are we going to do? That's like the first time it said who is supposed to be saying what line. But it doesn't say who the other lines are. I guess that's Lisa? We should start thinking about that. I'm going to get some sleep. With that, Kaufman left the room. Oh. No, that was Kaufman going to sleep. None of this makes sense. Where are you going? To the director's office. He often sleeps there, Lisa answered for him. It's cold, and not unexpected as it is snowing outside. But this room has no heating of any sort. I took off my jacket and went to put it on Lisa, but she shook her head from side to side. Isn't there any heating? Lisa's eyes shifted to the heater in the back of the room. I'm sorry. This worked until yesterday, but today it's broken. It's ironic. Lisa shrugged her shoulders. That's not irony, you dumb bitch. It's coincidental. But there should be an oil heater for use in the patient rooms in the reception area. I'll go and get it. Lisa begins to stand, but I stop her. I will go and get it. You just sit tight. Lisa smiled. You are kind. I pretended not to hear her as I left the room. What a dick. I take an audible breath. While I was talking to Lisa, I had become mentally tired, but I did find myself faintly attracted to her. An unexplainable irritableness took control of my feelings. What? I placed my hands on one of the two heaters lined up under the reception counter, and then was gripped with a strange sensation. I raised my head and looked around. In the dark, gloomy lobby, there is only the sound of a large wall clock, ticking away the passage of undeniable time. While listening to the irregular rhythm of that ticking sound, which was not unlike the irregular pulse of a patient just before they die, I completely forgot why I came to the lobby. I hate when I do that. Click, click, onomatopoeia for footsteps. Footsteps. I turned back, and as I approached the long corridor on the first floor, I saw it. Stop putting white text on bright fucking background images. At the end of the corridor, with the white light hitting her back from the window, the dark figure of a girl appeared out of the darkness. Only faintly, Tina? She appears to be facing me and can see me. Cheryl? At the moment I begin to approach, the figure vanished. Bang! Revolver Ocelot. Bang! The sound of gunfire reverberates throughout the hospital. From the door just left of where I am standing. Lisa! Oh my God. I open the door. The faint scent of gunpowder wafts through the air. And in the middle of the room, Lisa lay on her side. Dead. Holy fuck. Lisa! I instantly thought of Sybil. The situations strangely resemble each other. Only Lisa and I are in the room. In this closed room, only a face-down corpse and me. In the short amount of time I was out of the room, someone came and shot Lisa in the neck, and then left the room. That girl. Yes, it was that girl. There's no doubt about it. She must have lied in wait for Lisa to be alone. However, for what purpose? Why Lisa and not me? Pursue the girl I just saw? Or maybe the culprit is someone else. Yes, and they are still close. This is taking some amazing twists and turns, I gotta say. Excuse me while I use my inhaler. Bee. It's a lot of bees. The bees have it. I searched the area around the corpse. There I found a familiar handgun. This is the gun that I received from Sybil. Just to be sure, I checked my pockets. Sure enough, the handgun is gone. At some point, it must have been stolen from me. Kaufman? Or maybe Lisa when I was passed out? No, that is hard to imagine. Kaufman and I were far apart, and I cannot imagine that he managed to take the gun from where he was. The same with Lisa. I cannot imagine that she would take the gun while I was knocked out for the purpose of suicide. And then there's Sybil's death. The girl. There's no doubt about it. She's been following me all this time, just out of my sight. She took the gun while I was sleeping, and then shot Lisa. God damn it. I darted out of the room and began to run in the direction where the girl was. I held the gun ready near my temple and arrived at the elevator hall, ready for anything. When he says he holds it ready at his temple, that's not how you aim a gun, and it sounds like he's pointing it at his own head. However, I couldn't believe what I saw there. Kaufman! Kaufman has shrunk into the corner of the hall, as if he was driven there. One of the walls is covered with a disgusting spatter, and he's already dead on the floor. Upon seeing his injury, I sank to the ground. I sat with my legs crossed on the hard tile floor, at a loss as to what to do. That girl is walking around and destroying everything she sees with the gun. However, that girl is not here now. I bury my face in my hands. I thought, please kill me soon. Wow! As each of the people in town are killed, I don't want to be the last one. Please, kill me soon. This has gone from, like, really bizarre to, like, kind of lining up with the original game to, like, way darker, like, way the fuck out there. Holy shit. With my eyes closed, I prayed hard and wished for that. And then the girl came, the low sound of a motor, and a chime announced her arrival. The doors slowly open and close. After stepping off the elevator, the girl walked over to me and stood there. I was able to tell who the girl was without even raising my head. Daddy. I could not hold back my overflowing tears. I placed my palms on my face and cried out, Cheryl, why? Why are you doing this? My unintelligible voice resonated with the walls of the hall. Daddy. I looked at Cheryl through the spaces between my fingers. In her small right hand she held a black, solemn handgun, which was disproportionate to her size. Just the image of Cheryl in her dress, like, holding the gun. Wow. It was the Doubter. Wow. Spoilers. Come on, Charlie Gamer. Shit. I said, oh man, A, if you're going to kill me, then do it. Or B, give me that handgun! Give me back my son! I was not ready for the emotional roller coaster that is Silent Hill the Play novel. A, B, B, A, B, A. The A's have it. If you're going to kill me, then do it. Chapter 13. Truth. The small right hand holding the gun. With my eyes closed, I prayed hard. Oh yeah, text changed. Let me drink some sake. Ah. With my eyes closed, I prayed hard and wished for that. And then the girl came. The low sound of a motor and a... Wait. This already happened. I could not hold back... What? I said if you're gonna kill me, then do it. There we go. That was weird. Sorry. You daddy doesn't understand, but if you are going to kill me... Wait. Oh, that's... What? I guess that's Harry. Sorry. Your daddy doesn't understand, but if you're going to kill me, then do it. I am in agony to finally be reunited with you. With you like this. With an expressionless face, Cheryl points the barrel of the gun at me. Hand it over to him now, Cheryl. That voice woke me up. A particularly hoarse voice. Dahlia. I could faintly see her standing in the darkness behind Cheryl. Dahlia. Dahlia did not move. She looked down on me and began to speak. It's terrible. The gods have passed judgment on you. Under the pretext of searching for your missing daughter, you were unable to get her back. What are you saying? Dahlia taps Cheryl's shoulder, and Cheryl holds out the handgun. Daddy, isn't this yours? It was dropped here. I remained seated, and then I reached out and took the handgun without knowing why. My handgun? I hurriedly checked my pockets. The handgun was definitely missing. You already checked him. It doesn't appear that you have realized it yet. I carefully studied the gun I was holding. This is definitely the gun I received from Sybil. 1 round is chambered in the gun. Wait. There is 1 round in the gun. 1 round? Wait. What? Why am I at the antique shop again? Why is Sybil there? Why did we go back to this scene? What is happening? What is happening? Why am I here? Why am I back to this? Oh, it was a flashback? It was a flashback to the exact same dialogue and stuff that happened? The stuff that happened, like, just a fucking 5 minutes ago? It looks like you have remembered. Dahlia's piercing voice penetrates my eardrums. Dahlia, I cannot speak through my tears. It was different text? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh well. This fucking crazy-ass fanfiction threw me for a loop. And I got a little crazy. Started clicking, because I was like, what the fuck was that? I thought it took me back to the midpoint of the game again. Cheryl clings to Dahlia and stares fixedly at me. She appears to be frightened. Silence. It's strange that my daughter would cling to a woman that she has just met. Even as I shared the same time and space with them, they felt completely like people from another dimension. Okay. Sorry, Kitty Wolf. I thought I panicked, and I started clicking through because I didn't realize. So apparently Harry started killing people for no reason. Even as I shared the same time and space with them, they felt completely like people from another dimension. If you're going to kill... Oh, that's Dahlia. If you're going to kill, then you should do it. No one is left in this town. This town is dead. The snow still continues to fall, even now. On the roof and walls of this decrepit hospital, on all the houses, a merciless source of white ice falls. I fly into the sky. I look down on the town, wrapped in thick fog. It is going far away. I spread out my arms and climb even higher. This feels good. It's invigorating. If I close my eyes, I feel that I would rise all the way to space. Cheryl has watered the dandelions that have bloomed in the garden. My body is, in my distant consciousness, my entire body trembles. I am holding a gun in my right hand, lying face down on the desk in my study. I will never move, ever again. Calm sunlight. A gentle breeze blows in from the window. Cheryl. The end. What the fuck just happened to my brain? This isn't what I was in for at all. I was looking to, like, read off some dialogue and do some silly voices and just go through the story of Silent Hill 1 as a novel. This completely caught me by surprise. This has just been one of the, like, most amazing, bizarre fucking things I've ever really encountered. Wow. I got the Kaufman card. Okay, I guess that's it.